Nerd alert, nerd
You
alert.
mean like the day it opened and then
From 19, yeah, from through 1959, it was it was a luxury property. Hey, Mark, welcome back from Florida. How was your trip down there? It looked great on social media on Twitter. I know you posted pictures, right?
Yeah, it was nice to get out of the cold. It was perfect weather pretty much the whole weekend. Mid 70s, not too hot, not too cold. Sitting out by the water, having beers, just relaxing for a weekend. Got to see my parents for the first time in a year, so it was pretty cool. It definitely a whole different. It was like stepping into a different universe when you go down there because they've been wide open for so long. So it kind of feels like old times almost, which is a little bizarre after you've been locked down for a while. So it was unique for sure.
It's funny because I think people come to Vegas and if they're in like a very, very locked down area, they think that we're like wide open here. But then I hear people that go to Texas or Florida and compared to Vegas, we're completely, they think Vegas is completely shut down compared to those places. But
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Vegas this summer, it was which I think was more open than it is now. I think it was 50% restaurants back then, instead of 25%. And they're definitely it's not the same. So there was, you go to the
yeah,
restaurants and stuff, and there's big groups of people gathering in their little social circles and stuff, which it just felt more like 2019, which will make some people uncomfortable and some people will love it. So definitely something to consider if you're going. But it really depends on the location you go to and everything like that. So hard to say for sure.
yeah, Florida definitely looked nice with that heat. Vegas, people go to Vegas sometimes to escape the heat, but it's been freezing here, snowing in parts of the valley the last couple of days. Not at my house, unfortunately, but it's been just like in the 40s and rainy and just ugly. So those beaches looked really nice. But let's get into the show because I want to start by talking about my favorite thing. I've talked on the channel like a lot about how much I love the Bellagio Conservatory's Chinese New Year celebration, and they have that back, and I'll bring a video to the channel soon with it. But Venetian also has their Year of the Ox installation at the Palazzo, and it looks really neat. Great display. They very similar to Bellagio. They have all the fresh plants, and they do it up every year. So I can't wait to get over there and see that. And the pictures look really good. But also, they added the wishing tree that's in the Grand Canal shops in the Palazzo. They added this augmented reality thing where you go up and you scan a QR code, and then on your phone you put in your wish, and then it gets uploaded into the tree, and then it shows there and everything. So I can't wait to see that as well. But yeah, Vegas celebrating Chinese New Year this year. It's fun. I mean, it's fun to kind of move past the holidays and then have this back, which kind of reminds me of last year, right before everything kind of changed. This was the same kind of year, same time of year, same kinds of displays. So I kind of gives me a little nostalgia.
Yeah, those are always really cool to check out. Beautiful, and it's crazy when it's live plants. You look at it, it looks fake. Same with Bellagio, so it's always really cool to walk through. And the wishing tree thing sounds really cool. I had not heard about that until you sent the link before the show to read about it. So something definitely I'll consider checking out when I'm there end of February. If I make it down that way on the strip, I will check it out and see what this whole virtual reality thing is. Otherwise, I'm sure that you're going to do a video on it, and I'll get it there for sure.
For sure. Now I know if even if you make it there or not, I know one thing you're going to do when you're here in February is eat pizza because we know that that's your favorite food. And so I was excited when I came across on Eater Las Vegas the 17 essential places to get pizza in the city. And there's a lot of Detroit places. There's a couple of Detroit pizza places there, but pretty much like every kind of pizza is represented here. I know you were first to say Pizza Rock is on the list, which I know is a favorite of a lot of people in downtown, and then there's a location at Green Valley Ranch, but you didn't like their Detroit pizza, right?
Yeah, I will say don't judge Detroit style pizza on Pizza Rock's version of it. I had it a couple years ago, and it really wasn't all that great. So most people don't know. They're like, "What Detroit style is a pizza?" Which you had sent an article that Pizza Hut's actually coming out nationwide with a Detroit style pizza. So and everybody's like, "What? What are you talking about? What's this pizza?" So it goes back to like the old days in the auto plants and stuff. They would use a steel pan that is like an auto parts pan, and it's a square like Sicilian style pizza, and the cheese around the corner gets burnt. So it's got like this crispy, salty, cheesy flavor on the edges. And it's like a deep dish pizza, but it's really actually airy and thin and lots of cheese on top. And then sometimes the sauce is mixed on top of the cheese and mixed under, and it's kind of all over. And then the pepperonis are usually burnt on top, so they got more of like a smoky flavor. Unique to any other type of pizza, you know, the flavors you get from it, especially from the crust, is really something to try for sure if you can't. I mean, Jets is probably the biggest chain that does Detroit style, and they're in probably 12 to 15 states. So that's something to check out if you're ever near one. But yeah, Pizza Rock wasn't my favorite for that. I didn't try the other styles, which are probably really good because everybody seems to love it.
Now, Northside Nathan's is another Detroit pizza place on this list. And of course, there's plenty of New York style pizza. Things like, of course, Secret Pizza or the pizzeria at Cosmo that a lot of people know about. One that kind of caught my eye was Pizza Anonymous, which it seems like it's off the strip. So it's a kind of a local kind of area. But the pizza there is this kind of rectangular kind of thing with a burnt crust. It kind of looks like a
It
Detroit
looks,
pizza, but maybe a
it
little
does, but
different.
it looks like homemade Detroit pizza. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah,
all
like the
over the
one you
place,
make in the
like the shape.
backyard. Yeah.
I do have a pizza oven, like a Camp Chef pizza oven at home, so I send Sean pictures of my homemade pizza all the time. So it doesn't usually come out in like a perfect circle, and this definitely is not a perfect rectangle. So, but it looks really good. It looks better than the Pizza Rock picture for Detroit style pizza, even though this isn't exactly Detroit style. It's more like a Sicilian thinner crust look, but it does look really, really good. I definitely want to check it out now.
Yeah. And so there's tons of great options. And if you love pizza, this is a great list if you're coming to Vegas. So that's why I wanted to include it. And I will put a link in the description. There's everything from chains like Giordano's, which I probably don't agree with on this list just because it is such a big chain, to really cool local spots on the strip, off the strip. They did a great job. So I will
They
put
missed
that.
Evil Pie though. I
They
can't.
did miss Evil Pie downtown, Mark's favorite pizza in Vegas, or at least of recent memory. So they definitely deserve to be on the list. I didn't eat it, but it smelled really good. So, and they had a great deal for the slice and a beer for like $5, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was all, and the beer was like a homemade or local brewery. I don't know if it was their specific beer. It just said local brew, and it was actually a really good beer. So I can't wait to go back there for sure.
All right, and now let's talk about the fun part of the show, and this is where we're going to tell everybody how to save on resort fees in Las Vegas for 2021, or at least how we're doing it. Now, if you watch the channel, you know that I've stayed at just about every Caesars Entertainment property over the last 6 months, basically since the reopening. And one of the reasons I've done that is because I don't pay resort fees when I stay there, and I often get good rates, 20, 30% off the rates, which are already low, and then I'm not paying that $40 resort fee. And that's because of Founders Card, which we have a full guide and write up on the website. So I'm going to put that link in the description. Founders Card is a card, basically a lifestyle card for business owners, and it provides travel discounts, lifestyle discounts, and the one that I want to talk about, and I think applies to people watching this, is Caesars Reward Diamond status. And Mark, you and I both, you used to be Diamond, just you qualified for it a long time, but you are a Founders Card member now, and a Diamond status is pretty cool. It gets you, a decent number of perks in addition to the no resort fees, right?
Yeah, so it gives you the $100 free dinner, the celebration dinner that you get. So every year when you have Founders Card and you re-up it, February 1st is when it drops off from the previous year. So when you re-up it, you qualify for that Diamond Celebration dinner. So there's $100 off of whatever you spent on Founders Card. No resort fees, like Sean said. You get priority line access in a lot of places like the taxi line or at check-ins. Usually there's like a Diamond check-in desk. When you walk into Vegas on a Friday and you're on like a 4 or 5 hour flight, the last thing you want to do is see 100 people waiting in line, especially during a pandemic, and you're standing there and it takes like an hour just to get your keys to your room. So you just walk down the hallway and you go into your little Diamond check-in and there's like 2 people. You're in and out quick. It's amazing. That's one of my favorite perks of it. You get 2 free show tickets a month. It's select shows, but there's quite a bit of variety. You just have to go up to the desk, a couple days in advance or for that night and pick from the shows that are available. And you get 2 tickets to that. You also have free valet, free parking, which is big. You get access to the diamond lounges. Now you don't get free access, but since you're a diamond member, you can gain access by using $10 in rewards credit per person. You can get yourself in plus a guest. If you earn over 25,000 tier credits in a year, then you get free lounge access. That was a change they made a couple years ago because of things like Founders Card and the people that were just hitting the 15,000 tier credits.
We had a meetup a few years ago at the Paris, right, Mark? And there was about 30 of us there maybe, and there was almost everybody there had Founders Cards, so we all had access to the Diamond Lounge at Paris, and we were able to bring one guest. So even the people who weren't guests, we could guest everybody in. So we had a meetup, and then we had the after meetup at the Paris Diamond Lounge. Everybody got drinks, food. I mean, I wish it was still like that, but it's nice to have the access, even if you have to spend a little bit of comp dollars to get in. The diamond status at least gets you that option, which you won't have otherwise.
And we did a diamond lounge hop like 2 years ago. So I did a full breakdown of every diamond lounge with pictures and which one we liked. We ranked them all throughout the whole portfolio. So that's something Sean can put in the show notes that you want to check out. But I do think it's worth the $10 if you're planning on going around lunchtime or for hors d'oeuvres and you grab a couple drinks. If you're buying drinks, if you're not gambling at that moment and you're buying drinks, you're spending $7-8 per drink. So for $10, you usually come out ahead. It's definitely worth it, and it's comp dollars, so it's not that big of a deal. If you're going to Vegas, a couple times a year, you're going to earn $10 in reward credits pretty easily. So shouldn't be a problem. There used to be a free access or a free trip to the Atlantis in the Bahamas, but that has been taken away from the Founders Card members this year. So that's something to.
I think that they're doing Founders Card members a favor with that one. If anybody, if you love Atlantis, check out on the website. I'll put a link down below of my disaster there last year with the room flooding, and then the manager was accusing me. It was just a complete single worst hotel stay I think I've ever had. And I love the pools there. I do love like the idea of Atlantis, but that place is just terrible these days. Or at least unless you're staying in. I haven't stayed in the Cove, like the top end. So I know somebody got angry with me the other day about, well, you haven't stayed in. Okay, I haven't. I stayed in the main.
You didn't
Royal
spend
Tower.
$5,000 to stay at the Cove.
But yeah,
But no, like when you say flooded, you legit mean you're walking in and water is squirting up from your carpet. And they had flooding in the lobby, like what was it? The aquariums were all flooding and leaking and stuff.
Yeah, there's like towels on the floor, and I did the write up, and of course it was controversial. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but I just decided I don't want to go back there. But it does suck that they took that away though, because I know a lot of people, it's an aspirational place to go, and I've now gone there twice. Both times were because of Founders Card and this free offer. But let's talk about what people get. So upfront, the Founders Card's $295 a year with our special deal that they've now extended. That's not a affiliate partnership. That's just my personal referral link. Every member has one, but because of this channel and we're able to reach more people, they're giving that deal. They have occasionally had lower ones, but never anything public. This is the lowest public offer that they've had, and it doesn't have an initiation fee like they normally do. So it's just $295 for the year. Now, we highly recommend that you sit down with the benefits and look at what the value you're going to get with it, because some people won't get $295 value, and I do think most people will if they come to Vegas, because of the resort fees. I know we've had people write us and say just in a state, they came for a week. Resort fees are about $40 a night. So just in a week, you're going to save what you pay for Founders Card, plus you get the $100 celebration dinner. So if you're eating at any Caesars restaurant and paying for it, that's just as good as cash in my opinion. And it has been for me for many years. I've been a Founders Card member, I think, for 5 years now. So yeah, lots of good stuff there. But again, there's tons of other discounts. And that's why I highly recommend going to the website and checking out our complete guide and our post, because in addition to this, there is a lot more to it. And they definitely are looking for people who own businesses, and there's great networking opportunities as well. So there's more icing on this cake, but I think just from a pure value perspective, if you're looking from Vegas or even their other markets, will that Caesars Diamond status pay for itself? Maybe, just depending on how many nights you're going to stay. The other thing that is absolutely not guaranteed, Mark, but anecdotally I've heard from a few people, is that once you get that initial upgrade to Diamond, that somehow you tend to get comps right away. Comps over the long term are based on play. For example, I don't play a lot, so I don't get comps on my Diamond account. But when I first joined Founders Card 5 years ago, all of a sudden a bunch of comps appeared in my account. And then I've had a few people in the last couple of months tell me the same thing, that they joined through our link and that they got comps. So not a guaranteed benefit, but maybe kind of a, like I said, icing on the cake, something that don't expect, but it could happen. But the cost savings with the resorts fee, the free dinner, priority access, just being able to walk up to the front desk and say, hey, if you've watched any of my videos, these great views of the Bellagio fountains I've had, it's just, hey, can I just get a nice view? Not, you don't have to ask for too much. They see your diamond, they'll do that. Obviously in Vegas, if you ask for too much, you better have have some money behind it. But just asking, hey, can I get a nice view? Sure. And that's because I'm able to go to the diamond desk, that private desk at check-in. I don't have to wait in the long lines. So it's definitely been good for me. And now you've only had Founderscard about a year. So what has been your experience with it as somebody who's been newer to Founderscard?
Yeah, I'll say, there's a lot of unique benefits, and you dig through them, and a lot of it is stuff that I don't use. But there is, if you're a small business owner, Stripe, they give you $20,000 in free fees. So if you have a small business that you use that service, there's a huge savings right there. They'll also have American Airlines status matches, usually once a year, and that's actually rolling out right now. And you can actually start it whenever you want up until the end date. So you can plan it for when you have flights upcoming. If you fly American Airlines, they've done United Airlines in the past. So there's a lot of other stuff, but I would base it off of if you go to Vegas, twice a year on the regular, and you stay at Caesars properties and you're not already a Diamond member, I do think that you'll get your money back from it, as well as get those little perks when you're walking around and cutting lines and checking in quicker and all that stuff that kind of adds up. It doesn't add monetary value, but it does make life just a little bit easier and get you on the floor a little bit quicker if you're into gambling, or get you to the pizza place that you want to go to. So yeah, I find value in it. The show tickets is another thing. If you go to shows in Vegas, and each trip you go to, get 2 tickets, there's $100 at least in savings per trip. So I think it's worth it, as long as they keep re-upping the Caesars thing, which is a yearly process.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a yearly process. They just re-upped it through the end of January 2022. So if you join now, you would have a year, so it's not guaranteed that you'll have it every year, but you're just committing to that year. And just the last thing I'd say is that Mark and I both pay for our memberships. I've paid for my membership, so this isn't sponsored in any way. Like I said, if you do sign up with our offer, that is my regular referral link, just like any member has. But definitely want to disclose that. And the last thing I forgot to say is, during normal times, the Caesars Bacchanal buffet, just being able to skip that line, which is always an hour to 2 hours.
Huge.
You walk right
Huge.
up. And sometimes they give you like king crab. They give you better food, like crab legs. Not always, but sometimes as a Diamond member. But you can, I've been there quite a...
I know, before like Uber and everything, when I was a Diamond member, and you see that taxi line when you walk outside your hotel, and there's like 10 people, and you just like go to the line right next to it, and you get the next cab in front of everybody else. I know it sounds kind of DB-ish, but it does feel kind of nice.
Yes, it does. All right. So yeah, if you're interested, we have that offer. The link's in the description. Check it out, but also check out the full guide on our website. That way you can see all of the discounts, all broken down, analyzed. Worked really hard on doing that guide. So hopefully you get some value in that. And the next news topic I'm going to talk about is the Rio, really quick, because they keep coming back in the news. And I know it seems like every show we talk about the Rio now, and I'm hoping not to do it, but
we talk about a place nobody goes to or stays.
Well, but that's going to change, because now that the owners, we found out last time that they got a gaming license, and now they basically said they're going to take over the property. What's going to happen to it? They're going to redevelop it in some way, but the big kicker here is they said Hyatt will be involved in some form. Of course, Hyatt is a big partner of MGM Resorts and M Life, and that's where their big presence is on the Strip. So that was only the kind of takeaway, is it's really does look like it's marching towards a real future where it gets renovated, it stays open, and it's reborn as a luxury property like it used to be. And so, I mean, again, good news there for all the hate I've given them. It's good to see the owners marching towards that better day.
Now, what's your guess on this with the Hyatt tie-in? Because it sounded like it was a pretty much like Hyatt's in on it, and it's not like, hey, we're hoping to work this out. Like, it sounds like they've already talked about it and it's agreed upon. Do you think it's going to be like they take over a tower, kind of like Resorts World, where they have the Conrad in this tower and a different brand in this tower? Or do you think it's going to be all rebranded as like Hyatt Partnership, which I think would be weird because of their tie-in with M Life, but I'm kind of leaning towards like they take over a tower and make it like a Hyatt Regency or whatever it be, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, there are a lot of rooms at the Rio, so I could see that happening because if it was just the entire thing was a Hyatt, that would be one of the biggest Hyatts in the world, if not right up there with Baja Mar. I mean, it would be huge. So you're probably right. It could be a hotel within a hotel. And while Hyatt does have their partnerships with M Life and stuff, they don't have their own brand on any property on the Strip, and they don't have their own any of their full service brands here in Las Vegas at all. There used to be a Hyatt Regency out at Lake Las Vegas, which is now a Westin, and I think that was the last time that they've had a full service brand here. So I think that could be their play, and because because it will be an actual Hyatt brand, maybe that doesn't affect their partnership with MGM, or maybe because it's off strip it doesn't. But those rooms are great. I mean, the base room is like 550 square feet, and I just mean great as far as the layout. So it does have the layout to be a luxury property, to have plenty of space. Unlike maybe the Flamingo, for instance, which their base rooms are 300 square feet. So it makes it a little bit more difficult in modern times to sell that as a luxury room, even though a lot of people don't know, but the Flamingo was considered at one time a luxury property. Nerd alert, nerd alert.
You mean like the day it opened and then
From through 1959, it was a luxury property. Oh God. Well, the last story is billionaire Steve Wynn. He bought a house a few years ago in LA, and for like $54 million, and now he has it on the market $110 million, and it's going to be the fourth, if it sells for this price, the fourth biggest sale in that area ever, and it is a stunning house.
yeah, it really is. And I know he did like a huge expansion. I think he added like 8,000 square feet to the house from when he bought it. So it doesn't say how much that was put in or how much that cost, but I'm sure it wasn't anywhere near the extra 60 million that he's selling it for. I don't know if he'll get that price. LA market's so crazy, who knows, but it's beautiful. I can't fathom having a house that large. Like, what do you do with all the rooms? How often do you actually go into this room? But to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, Steve Wynn's always had good taste. I mean, his hotels are beautiful. But yeah, he paid 47.85 million in 2015, but he did add on 8,000 square feet, which no doubt cost him a lot of money to do. But yeah, that's a nice payday. No, even adding the 8,000 square feet, he's gonna leave with a nice chunk of change. When this sells, of course, you got to find somebody who has $110 million, maybe somebody who was messing around with GameStop stock or something like that. Who knows?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week on MtM Vegas. Check out all the Founders Card information in the description. Links to everything else in the description as well. Make sure to check out our Miles Points Travel Podcast at mtmpodcast.com, where we talk about travel and finance, credit card rewards, how to save money and time on travel. And we do that every single week. Thanks so much for watching, for listening. See you next time.
See you next week.